What's going on, campers? Campfacer here. Welcome back to another Texas Chainsaw Massacre the game video.
Campfacer.
Today, there's some very exciting news. Gun Interactive just did a live stream over on Twitch, and they went over the whole metagame for TCM. And let me just tell you guys, it's very deep, but once you learn how to do it, it's very interesting. And if you don't know what metagame is, it's a game within the game. So if you're not playing the physical actual game, there's like the whole skill tree for building your characters. That's the metagame. It's kind of like a gamble of which direction you want to go and how you want to build your character to your liking. But it's a lot different with TCM opposed to other games I've seen out there. And I'm going to show you maybe a couple clips from their live stream explaining some things here. But it was very interesting and a lot to take in. But at the same time, to me, the way they have it set up is it doesn't matter if you're a high level player or just starting on level 1 or level 2 in your building, because it all matters what path you take and what kind of skills and loadouts you put on your character.
Star sign ability being the core of the character, it's the first node that you would touch on your loadout screen, right? It's the first thing that you would want to tinker with. For Connie, it's focused, so if you lock in here, you see that you can kind of start navigating this tree and unlocking different things that will modify her star sign ability, which happens to be focused. Focus is the ability, for those of you who haven't played the tech test, that allows you to pick locks at a quicker speed.
I have a question for you, Matt.
You have a question for me? Let's hear it.
This isn't from chat. This is from me.
Oh, okay.
Why did you choose star signs?
Well, you see, Wes, in the original 1974 film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they're driving in the van, and Pam has this astrology handbook. And, you know, that time of you know, that point in history, astrology was really big, and it was very, it was common for people to talk about their star signs and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
What that makes, you know.
Horoscopes, like, all that stuff was really taken off. To the youngsters in chat, there used to be a thing called a newspaper that you would get delivered to your house, and in the newspaper would be a whole section about your horoscope, and people actually were really into talking about that. And that age, that era of mysticism becoming more into the pop culture and more relevant, you started seeing that a lot around that time period. And that obviously bled into when, you know, Toby was set designing and putting all these things together for the film, having one of the lead characters carrying this book. So if you go back and watch the 74 film, you'll see that book is on the dashboard, and she's holding it a few times. She's talking about it. So we gleaned from that, like, well, what if that idea of a star sign, what if that was what we sort of grokked and put into how the metagame works? So that was the inspiration for why this looks the way it is, why it says the things that it says. So deep cut for you horror nerds out there.
Going back to the game now. Yeah, star sign ability. So, focused. Connie's ability. Connie grew up on a farm. Connie is handy. She's good with it. She's technical and can handle those kinds of small details and small trickery that it takes to pick locks and things. So, one of the most important things to note about this is, obviously, when you load the game up for the first time, you won't have any points here to spend. But as you do have points to spend, instead of it being a matter of, well, I'm going to unlock, say, this node right here, right? And you'll see what just happened here. This is something that we felt was pretty important. You know, being able to say, well, we need to have decision points in this. So you can't jump to this node on the far left and then go all the way over here and grab this next one, or potentially just keep spilling points into this tree and fill the whole thing up. We wanted it to be decision-based in the metagame, where every choice you make throughout this tree and what we'll show in a minute, which is the full skill tree, has a reward and a consequence. So, in other words, you know, basically everywhere you go, every time you select something in our metagame, you're going to see other things are X'd out. But most important to remember is you can respec at any point in time. You can wipe all your points out of this, keep them, redo this. We don't want changing what you've chosen in this metagame to be, resetting it to be a punishment. We want you to jump in and be able to tinker with this because we've all played these multiplayer games where that's the fun of it, being able to build up a character.
Absolutely.
You face off against a different type of player, or some maybe, you know, as people get more skilled and the counters start to surface, you want to change that build.
Is there any cost to that respect?
No.
Right.
No. You pull all your points out, you put them back in, and then, I mean, honestly, the idea of theory crafting builds and being able to run through and share
I'm glad you're
builds,
getting into this.
Yeah, the idea of being able to theory.
So you could have a high level player with a low level player, and the high level player might have picked like the wrong loadouts to the match that you're playing up against certain other players, and you might pick a different one that might be just the right loadout. So it's all a gamble in what path you take through this tree, you guys. So this is a very fun, deep meta game within this game, you guys. I'm liking it so far. It seems like it could be a little bit confusing, but once you learn it, it's going to be a lot of fun. It really is. Now, the interesting thing is Gun made it so there's no penalty if you want to start over. Like, say you went up like the tree a little bit and you're like, oh, I don't like the path I'm taking. I kind of wanted to go to the right side of the tree. So if you go back, you're not going to get penalized for that. So you can go backwards and kind of rework your character to the right side or up the middle or whatever. And that's another thing too. There's 3 ways to go up the tree when you start out in this game. Like, so let's say you go to level 3. Okay, you're working up to level 3 and you're taking the left-hand path up the tree, or like a little bit to the middle. So if you get to the top of level 3, you can unlock those perks. But if there's a perk on the far right-hand side, I know this sounds confusing, it won't be unlocked because you're too far to the left. Or vice versa. If you're too far to the right, you can't unlock the left side. So it all depends on what path you take. So you might have missed out on something good on the left, but because you went up the right-hand side, you missed out. So it's kind of a gamble, and that's where it makes it fair for all players. Like I said, if you're a high-level player or a low-level player, it all matters which path you take up this tree. And each loadout, like when you finally no matter what level you're on, you got loadout, okay? There's 5 loadouts you can save for your characters, okay? So there's 3 slots to set your perks up from your skill tree.
You don't have to progress through all 3 routes because that's not possible, again, with those decision points. But you have to make it to the end of the skill tree. So, yeah, this is the route I've chosen. Now let's go back out here and let's see here. Oh, a little tough to see. Let's tab over this way. There we go. Here's our loadout screen. Now, like I said, we get, 5 different loadouts. You can see here, I'm on loadout 1 right now. Oh, wait, there we go. How do I change my loadout?
You can see that.
I'm old and my eyes don't work.
I hear you, dude. Is it possible, Rob, to throw game to full screen for us just for a short little bit here?
Rob, I'm a million years old, buddy.
We're just having a hard time reading what's going on. There we go. Full screen, baby.
Yeah, left trigger. There we go.
Left trigger, right trigger, what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, see, Rob, you should have said that earlier, man. So
I
anyway,
wanted to watch you fumble.
Yeah, I have 5 loadout screens. In testing, my character gets wiped out so often that I really have 1 loadout. I haven't even enjoyed this yet. But you have 5 loadouts here. Each one of your 5 loadouts, you can assign different perks from your pool that you've unlocked. Now, you'll notice on the perk screen here, I only have access to the perks that I've unlocked. Rob, you can go back to the other there. So, thanks, Rob. You'll see that I only have perks that I've unlocked so far in the skill tree. That's why those choices that you make in the skill tree are so important, because those go into that pool that you can then pick from to make your 5 loadouts. But I also have attribute points that I can assign down here if I want to spill these out differently. We're going to breeze through this because, again, this isn't anything, this is basically all of those attribute points that we've unlocked in the skill tree. We can dump into our different perks, or different attributes of choice. We can assign our perks up here, get them all set up. As you can see, I can have a separate modifier for my ability, and then jump up here and switch loadouts, and you see what happens there with all of your attribute points and everything else. There's nothing locked once you spend those attribute points, they're not locked in. Even though you spent them in loadout 1, they're not locked in for loadout 2. I think that's something important to note because, in a lot of games like this, loadouts mean 3 different perks. I get 3 different perks, I get 3 different perks.
Right.
In this, you get to use those attribute points differently. So for loadout 1, you might dump them all into endurance, but for loadout 2, you want to dump them all into stealth or however you want to do it.
And how many of those loadouts can you save? 5.
5.
Good question. I saw that pop through chat.
Yeah, 5 loadouts per character. So and like I said, anytime you respec your tree, you can take a different route, rebuild all your loadouts, all of that.
And again, no penalty when you respec.
Yeah.
But there's 5 loadouts. So you could swap loadouts. Like, let's say you enter a match and there's different players coming in and you notice like, oh no, we have a high level or a crazy Leatherface coming into play. I better like swap out my loadout. I'll go to like loadout number 4. So that's a really cool feature that they added to the loadouts. More than like 4, they added 5. That's awesome. So it all matters how you build your character, and it matters what path you take. You don't take any penalties for backing down the tree. And what I also like is if you do go up a certain path and then you want to come back and take a different path, they leave that path on the left, whatever path you took originally, unlocked. They don't want to make it so it's like a pain in the ass and like you're basically like getting punished for going backwards. So they leave it unlocked. So it's kind of like experimenting with the tree. That's what I like about this metagame. It's all about experimenting, learning as you go, kind of like testing the waters, going up a certain way and seeing what kind of perks and loadout you can build off that side, and then maybe go down a different way. So it's going to take some time to play and test the waters of these skill trees, and that's what I really like about this whole metagame. It kind of gives it like a fun, like something to do off screen without the game being played in a match. You could sit there for a while and like take notes, write down different ideas and builds, and build certain play styles per character. So you could also work on each character. So if like somebody steals your other character when you go to enter a match, you can be like, oh well, I still like playing as Leland, and jump in as Leland, and then he has 5 different loadouts that you were possibly working on. So the skill tree is definitely familiar with other games, but it's a lot different, a lot deeper, and it's kind of like a gamble because you can't just go one way and then unlock all of the perks. You have to take the certain path. But again, Gun doesn't penalize for anything, which is great because they don't want to make people annoyed and have to like put the game to the side because they were like, well, I had to go back, so I lost all the CP, and now I don't even see where I went before. So they make it kind of easy and fun to test the waters and play the game that way. So I want to know what you guys think about this down in the comment section below. Are you guys excited for the metagame? Do you guys think it looks a little bit too confusing and too deep? Or do you guys think it's just what you wanted? Do you guys think it could ruin the game? Like I said, I don't think it's going to, because it doesn't matter what level player you are. If you have the right loadout or the right perk, or you went the right direction, you might just be able to handle a high level player. Or if you're a high level player, you think you know it all and you have the best loadout, a low level 2 player might have a better loadout than you and wipe you clean. So that's what makes this game fun. It's a gamble. It'll make it so that it's not overpowered for each player. It's all like depending on where you went down the road, what side of the road you went on the skill tree. So anyways, that's it for now. I want to know what you guys think. Give me a like. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, campers, stay out of the woods.